Before tonight's story gently begins, I'd love to know where you're listening from. Share your country or city in the comments below, and if you're enjoying these peaceful journeys through history, consider subscribing so you won't miss our next quiet adventure beneath the moonlight. Now, dim the lights, settle into your favorite cozy spot, and let your breathing become slow and easy. Tonight, dear friend, we're leaving the noise of the modern world behind and stepping into a peaceful Japanese mountain village more than 2 centuries ago. There are no busy roads, no glowing screens, and no rushing crowds. Only the gentle sound of flowing water, the whisper of bamboo in the breeze, warm lantern light, and the quiet rhythm of ordinary lives. So close your eyes if you'd like, relax your shoulders, and together, let's peacefully wander through the forgotten beauty of old Japan. Tonight, dear friend, we travel back in time. Not to the halls of powerful shoguns or the castles of famous samurai, but to a quiet farming village tucked between gentle mountains during Japan's peaceful Edo period. As always, before we begin our journey, allow yourself to settle into a comfortable position. Let the worries of the modern day drift quietly away, like fallen leaves floating down a slow-moving stream. There is nothing you need to accomplish tonight, nowhere you need to hurry. For the next little while, your only task is to wander peacefully through another time. Imagine the air growing cooler around you. The sounds of cars, phones, and busy streets slowly fade until they are replaced by something much older. The soft murmur of flowing water, the distant call of a night bird, the whisper of bamboo leaves swaying together in the gentle breeze. You open your eyes. Above you stretches a ceiling of dark wooden beams, polished smooth by generations of careful hands. The room is simple but welcoming. Paper shoji screens glow faintly with silvery moonlight filtering through the thin rice paper. Woven straw tatami mats cover the floor beneath you, carrying the fresh, earthy scent that only natural straw can offer. Outside, the village is still asleep. The stars remain bright over the surrounding mountains, their reflections shimmering faintly in the flooded rice paddies beyond the houses. Thin ribbons of mist drift lazily across the valley floor, wrapping themselves around small wooden bridges and narrow footpaths. The night is not completely silent. Somewhere nearby, water flows steadily through a carefully dug irrigation channel, carrying life toward the waiting fields. Crickets continue their quiet evening song. A bamboo wind chime hanging beneath the eaves gently taps together every few moments. Its delicate notes disappear almost as soon as they arrive. You slide the light cotton quilt aside and quietly stand. The cool tatami feels pleasantly firm beneath your bare feet. A folded indigo blue kimono rests neatly beside the bedding. You lift it carefully. The fabric is soft from years of washing, dyed with natural indigo that village families have used for centuries. Simple white stitching strengthens the sleeves and collar, evidence that careful repairs are valued far more than replacing something still useful. Nothing in this home is wasted. Every object has earned its place. You dress slowly, tying the sash with practiced movements that have become part of daily life. Nearby rests a pair of straw sandals. Their woven fibers are slightly rough beneath your fingertips, yet remarkably comfortable after years of use. Before stepping outside, you pause beside the small household shrine tucked quietly into one corner of the room. A tiny ceramic vase holds a single fresh wildflower gathered yesterday from the edge of the forest. Beside it rests a carefully folded piece of white paper and a small wooden offering bowl. No grand ceremony takes place this morning. Only a quiet moment of gratitude, a simple bow, a peaceful beginning. The sliding wooden door opens almost without a sound. Cool morning air welcomes you immediately. It carries the scent of damp earth, cedar trees, fresh water, and distant wood smoke from the first cooking fires beginning to awaken across the valley. The eastern horizon has only just begun to lighten. Deep navy blue slowly softens into pale silver. Soon, gentle shades of pink and gold will follow. But not yet. For a few precious moments, the world belongs equally to both night and morning. The farmhouse sits on the edge of the village beside a small stream that never seems to rest. Its clear water slips quietly over smooth stones polished by centuries of flowing currents. A narrow wooden bridge crosses the stream, connecting the family home to winding footpaths leading toward the rice fields. Tiny beads of dew cling to every blade of grass. Each one reflects the fading stars above. The village itself remains wonderfully still. Traditional wooden houses with gently curved tile roofs rest beneath towering cedar trees. Their paper windows remain closed. Their lanterns have long since burned out. Only the occasional thread of smoke rising from a chimney suggests that someone inside has already begun preparing the morning meal. Far beyond the houses, the dark outline of forested mountains surrounds the valley like patient guardians. These mountains have watched countless generations come and go. Children have grown into parents beneath their silent gaze. Rice has been planted and harvested every year. Seasons have changed with perfect reliability. The mountains remain. A rooster calls somewhere across the village. Its voice echoes briefly before fading into the cool morning air. Almost immediately, another rooster answers from farther away. One by one, the village begins its quiet awakening. You follow the narrow dirt path toward the fields. Smooth river stones have been carefully placed in wetter sections of the trail, making each step steady even after recent rain. Small patches of moss grow between them, glowing softly beneath the fading moonlight. Wildflowers line the edges of the path. White clover, tiny purple blossoms, golden buttercups swaying gently beneath the morning breeze. A rabbit darts briefly from one patch of tall grass to another before disappearing completely. Only the trembling grass reveals where it has gone. The farther you walk, the more the sounds of nature begin replacing the silence of night. Small songbirds flutter between low branches. Tree frogs retreat toward shaded pools as daylight approaches. Dragonflies rest motionless upon reeds growing beside narrow irrigation channels, waiting for the first warmth of the rising sun. Ahead, the rice paddies stretch across the valley like enormous mirrors. Still flooded from careful irrigation, they reflect both the brightening sky and the fading stars. The sight is breathtaking in its quiet simplicity. Each field has been shaped by generations of patient hands. Raised earthen paths divide one paddy from another with remarkable precision. Tiny streams carry water from mountain springs through an intricate network of channels maintained by every family in the village. No single farmer owns the water. It belongs to everyone because every harvest depends upon it. Even before the first sunlight touches the valley, you notice movement. An elderly farmer slowly approaches carrying a wooden hoe balanced comfortably across his shoulders. His broad straw hat shields his face despite the darkness. His blue cotton jacket has faded after years beneath the summer sun. He notices you and smiles warmly. No hurried greeting, no unnecessary words. Only a gentle bow exchanged between neighbors beginning another ordinary day. Sometimes kindness speaks most clearly through quiet gestures. The farmer continues toward his field at an unhurried pace. Behind him walks his granddaughter, perhaps 8 or 9 years old. She carefully carries a small wooden bucket almost as large as herself. Every few steps she pauses, adjusts her grip, then continues with determined little footsteps. The old man never rushes her. He simply walks nearby, patiently, knowing that today's lesson is not only about farming, it is about growing. You watch them until they disappear into the silver mist drifting across the paddies. The first rays of sunlight finally touch the highest mountain peaks. Golden light slowly begins its descent toward the sleeping village below. The roofs brighten first, then the cedar trees. then the bamboo groves. And at last, the endless fields of rice begin to glow like sheets of polished gold, welcoming another peaceful morning in a forgotten corner of Edo, Japan. The morning continues to unfold with remarkable patience. Nothing in the valley seems eager to hurry the sunrise. Instead, every small corner of the landscape welcomes the light in its own quiet way. The mist that had rested over the rice paddies begins to lift ever so slowly. It doesn't disappear all at once. Rather, it drifts gently toward the nearby hills, revealing neat rows of young rice plants standing in perfectly ordered lines beneath the shallow water. Each tiny blade catches a drop of dew. For a brief moment, every field sparkles as though thousands of little stars have settled upon the earth instead of remaining in the heavens above. You pause on the narrow earthen path that separates two paddies. The soil beneath your sandals is cool but firm, carefully maintained by generations of farmers who understand that these humble walkways are just as important as the fields themselves. Without them, no one could tend the rice without disturbing the delicate young plants. Every detail has its purpose. Even the smallest path has been shaped by wisdom, passed quietly from one generation to the next. The gentle sound of flowing water accompanies every step. Unlike wide rivers that rush with great force, these irrigation channels move calmly. Water slips around smooth stones, curls beneath tiny wooden gates, and quietly fills one paddy after another before continuing toward the lower fields. Nothing is wasted. The mountain streams give their water freely, and the villagers guide it with careful hands rather than trying to command it. Living alongside nature has taught them that cooperation often brings greater rewards than control. A kingfisher suddenly flashes across the channel. Its brilliant blue feathers catch the growing sunlight for only a heartbeat before the little bird disappears into the reeds. The moment is so brief that it almost feels imagined. Yet the tiny ripple left upon the water proves it was real. You smile softly. Nature often offers its most beautiful gifts to those willing to watch patiently. Across the fields, more villagers begin appearing one by one. No loud conversations fill the morning air. People greet one another with warm smiles and respectful bows before quietly beginning their work. An elderly woman walks with a woven basket hanging from her arm. Inside are neatly wrapped rice cakes prepared before dawn. She will share breakfast with family members working in the fields. A young mother carries her smallest child upon her back, wrapped securely beneath a soft cotton cloth. The little one sleeps peacefully despite each gentle step. Nearby, two brothers carefully inspect a section of the irrigation channel. One removes a fallen branch while the other clears away leaves that gathered overnight. Neither task takes very long. Yet both understand that small acts of daily care prevent larger problems later. The village depends upon hundreds of quiet responsibilities like these. No single task appears extraordinary. Together, they create a peaceful community. The air grows warmer as the sun climbs higher. A pleasant fragrance begins drifting across the valley. Freshly steamed rice, miso soup gently simmering over wood fires, grilled river fish, the faint sweetness of green tea. Breakfast is nearly ready in many homes. Smoke rises in graceful ribbons from the chimneys of wooden farmhouses scattered throughout the village. Rather than dark clouds, each thin trail of smoke seems almost like a gentle signal. Morning has truly arrived. Not far away, the rhythmic knocking of wood against wood reaches your ears. Curious, you follow the sound along another narrow footpath lined with smooth river stones. Soon you discover its source. A farmer stands beside a simple wooden device used to lift water from a lower channel into a slightly higher field. The mechanism is beautifully uncomplicated. Balanced pieces of timber, a bamboo pole, carefully carved joints fitted together without iron nails. The man works steadily, guiding water upward with slow, practiced movements that require more rhythm than strength. His sleeves are rolled neatly to his elbows. His broad straw hat shades his weathered face. Years beneath the summer sun have left fine lines around his eyes, yet those eyes carry a quiet contentment. There is satisfaction in honest work performed without hurry. He notices your interest and offers another gentle bow. For a moment, he pauses to adjust the wooden paddle before continuing. The steady creak of timber blends naturally with birdsong and flowing water until it becomes another peaceful voice within the valley. Farther along the path, you come upon a tiny roadside shrine nestled beneath the spreading branches of an ancient camphor tree. Its weathered wooden roof is covered with soft green moss. Small offerings rest upon the simple stone altar. Fresh flowers gathered from nearby meadows. A handful of polished chestnuts, several carefully folded paper streamers moving lightly in the morning breeze. Someone has swept the ground clean before sunrise. Even this quiet place receives daily care. You stop only for a respectful moment, not because anyone expects you to, because peaceful places naturally invite quiet reflection. The camphor tree itself is magnificent. Its thick trunk would require several people holding hands to reach all the way around. Its broad branches shelter birds, insects, and countless small creatures. Perhaps it was already old when the grandparents of today's villagers were children. Some living things measure time very differently from people. Standing beneath its shade reminds you that patience can last longer than memory itself. Beyond the shrine, the village slowly grows busier. Wooden doors slide open. Tatami mats are carried outside to air in the sunshine. Children laugh quietly as they chase one another across small garden paths before being gently reminded that the morning chores come first. One little boy carefully sweeps fallen pine needles from the entrance to his family's home. His broom is almost taller than he is. Every few strokes, he pauses to brush loose hair away from his forehead before continuing with determined concentration. His grandmother watches from the porch while sorting fresh vegetables into woven baskets. She offers a few gentle words of encouragement. The boy smiles proudly and continues sweeping. Simple responsibilities become valuable lessons when learned with kindness instead of pressure. A pair of village cats stretch lazily atop a wooden fence warmed by the first sunlight. One yawns enormously before curling back into a comfortable ball. The other watches sparrows hopping through the nearby vegetable garden with polite curiosity rather than any real desire to hunt. Even the animals seem to understand that mornings here begin peacefully. Above the rooftops, swallows dart gracefully through the clear blue sky. They build their nests beneath the eaves of many homes, returning each spring with remarkable faithfulness. The villagers welcome them. Their cheerful songs have long been considered one of the happiest signs that warmer seasons have truly arrived. You continue walking at the same gentle pace as the rest of the village. There is nowhere to rush. The day has only just begun. Ahead, the sound of steady tapping rises from somewhere near the center of the village. Perhaps a carpenter has already begun shaping cedar wood for a new doorway. Perhaps a co-opper is repairing a rice barrel before harvest season. Whatever the task may be, another quiet chapter of village life is about to reveal itself as the peaceful morning continues beneath the brightening skies of Edo, Japan. The steady tapping grows a little clearer with every step. It is neither hurried nor loud. Instead, it settles naturally into the morning, blending with birdsong, flowing water, and the gentle rustle of bamboo leaves. Before long, the narrow footpath opens into a small clearing where a modest wooden workshop stands beneath the shade of 2 tall cedar trees. The building is simple. Its timber walls have darkened over many seasons of rain and sunshine, while the gently sloping roof is carefully thatched to keep out both summer showers and winter snow. Sliding wooden doors remain open, welcoming the cool morning air inside. A carpenter is already at work. He appears to be in his late 50s, with silver beginning to show among his neatly tied black hair. His hands are broad and weathered, marked by decades spent shaping cedar, pine, and cypress into objects that quietly support everyday life. A low wooden bench holds several carefully arranged tools, a hand plane polished smooth through years of use, wooden mallets carved from sturdy oak, delicate chisels with handles wrapped in woven cord, a measuring square fashioned from hardwood. Each tool rests in its proper place. Nothing is scattered, nothing is wasted. The carpenter gently draws the hand plane across a cedar board. Long, paper-thin curls of fragrant wood gather upon the floor. The scent of fresh cedar immediately fills the workshop, warm and comforting, carrying hints of resin and mountain forests. You pause nearby without speaking. The carpenter notices your presence. Instead of stopping his work, he smiles kindly and offers a respectful nod before continuing. Conversation can wait. The wood deserves his full attention. Every movement seems almost effortless. The plane glides forward. Another ribbon of cedar curls away. The board grows smoother with each careful pass. There is no need for haste. The timber has waited decades to become this piece of furniture. It will not mind another few quiet moments. Outside the workshop, several finished items rest beneath the morning sun. A wooden rice chest, freshly repaired farming tools, simple stools, strong buckets held together by smooth bamboo bands. A beautifully crafted child's writing desk awaits delivery to a nearby family. Each piece reflects quiet craftsmanship rather than decoration. Beauty here comes through usefulness. The carpenter believes that an object serving its purpose well becomes beautiful naturally. Not far away, a cheerful voice calls softly. A young apprentice, perhaps 14 years old, carefully carries several cedar planks toward the workshop. His sleeves are rolled neatly above his wrists, revealing fine sawdust clinging to his forearms. He bows respectfully before placing the timber beside the workbench. The older craftsman thanks him with only a few gentle words. Much of today's teaching happens through observation rather than lengthy instruction. The apprentice watches every movement closely, how firmly the plane is held, how gently the wood is supported, how each cut follows the natural grain instead of resisting it. Little by little, skill passes quietly from one generation to the next. No grand ceremony announces the lesson. Only patient work shared between experienced hands and eager eyes. You continue along the village lane. The road curves gently between neatly tended vegetable gardens enclosed by low bamboo fences. Morning glories climb simple wooden trellises, their blue blossoms opening wide to greet the sunlight. Rows of daikon radishes push leafy greens above the dark soil. Eggplants hang heavily beneath broad leaves. Bright green cucumbers twist among carefully woven supports. Everything has its season. Everything grows according to its own quiet rhythm. An elderly woman kneels beside one of the gardens. Her straw hat casts a wide circle of shade over her face as she gently removes tiny weeds growing between the vegetables. She does not pull quickly. Instead, each unwanted plant is loosened carefully to avoid disturbing nearby roots. Every living thing receives thoughtful attention. Even the soil seems respected. A woven basket rests beside her. Inside lie freshly picked herbs, tender onions, and several smooth cucumbers glistening with morning dew. Today's meals will come almost entirely from the village itself. Very little travels great distances. The seasons determine what appears upon each family's table. As you walk farther, the village begins filling with quiet industry. A coopper sits outside his home repairing a rice barrel. Thin strips of bamboo soak in a wooden trough before being wrapped carefully around polished staves. Nearby, a woman hangs freshly washed indigo cloth upon long bamboo poles, where the breeze gently lifts each corner. The deep blue fabric dances softly against the brilliant sky. Children carry small bundles of firewood gathered from nearby woodland paths. None of them complain. They chat quietly among themselves, occasionally laughing before continuing toward their homes. Even their laughter feels gentle. Nothing breaks the peaceful atmosphere. Near the center of the village, you discover a narrow stream crossing beneath an elegant wooden bridge. The bridge is modest, only wide enough for two people to pass comfortably, yet its graceful arch reflects perfectly upon the clear water below. Small koi drift lazily beneath its shadow. Tiny silver fish dart between smooth stones. Dragonflies skim the water's surface before disappearing among tall reeds. You rest your hands upon the bridge's polished railing. The timber feels pleasantly warm where the morning sun has already reached it. Looking downstream, you notice several women rinsing freshly harvested vegetables in shallow baskets. They speak softly while working. Occasionally one laughs. Another points toward a pair of ducks paddling happily along the current. The conversation flows as naturally as the stream itself. No one appears rushed. The day's work stretches comfortably before them. Across the bridge, the narrow lane enters a small grove of towering bamboo. Instantly, the air grows cooler. Sunlight filters through thousands of slender green stalks, painting delicate patterns across the earth below. Whenever the breeze moves, the bamboo sways together with graceful harmony. Their hollow trunks produce a gentle music unlike any other sound in nature. A soft knocking, a quiet whisper, a slow rustling that rises and falls like distant waves upon the sea. Many travelers later write that this is one of the most peaceful sounds they have ever heard. Standing here, it is easy to understand why. The bamboo grove feels almost sacred, not because of any grand monument, but because nature itself creates such effortless beauty. Tiny ferns carpet the forest floor, moss cushions ancient stones. Sunbeams wander slowly through the leaves overhead. Even the air seems softer beneath the emerald canopy. A narrow footpath winds deeper into the grove before emerging beside another section of flooded rice fields. Here, several farmers work barefoot in the cool water. Their trousers are rolled neatly above the knees. Wide straw hats shield them from the strengthening sun. Each movement is slow and remarkably steady. One places young rice seedlings into the soft earth. Another follows behind, adjusting the spacing with practiced eyes. The rows remain perfectly straight despite the gentle ripples surrounding them. Watching them, you begin to understand something important about village life. No one competes to finish first. There are no loud commands, no frantic pace. The fields reward patience far more generously than speed. Every seedling receives the same careful attention. Every row is planted with quiet precision. The harvest months from now will depend upon these peaceful hours spent beneath the gentle morning sky. You remain beside the edge of the paddy for a little while longer. A cool breeze crosses the water, carrying the scent of wet earth, growing rice, cedar forests, and distant cooking fires. The fragrance feels clean, simple, comforting. As the sun climbs higher above the surrounding mountains, golden light spreads across the valley, revealing yet another beautiful corner of this quiet Edo village waiting to welcome you. The warmth of the morning slowly settles across the valley. The cool mist has nearly disappeared now, leaving behind bright blue skies reflected in the quiet rice paddies. Every wooden rooftop catches the golden light, while tiny swallows glide effortlessly overhead, tracing graceful circles through the fresh mountain air. You leave the edge of the fields and continue along a gently winding footpath toward the heart of the village. With every step, the peaceful rhythm of daily life becomes a little more visible. Wooden gates slide open. Garden paths are swept clean. Fresh water splashes softly into wooden buckets. Somewhere nearby, a bamboo fountain slowly tips forward. A hollow knock echoes through the air as it fills, empties, and gently returns to its resting place before beginning the quiet cycle once again. The sound repeats every few moments, never loud, never distracting, simply another peaceful heartbeat within the village. Ahead, a broad Zelkova tree spreads its enormous branches above a small open square. Its leaves shimmer gently whenever the breeze drifts through them, casting dancing shadows across the packed earth below. For generations, villagers have gathered beneath this tree. Children play here, travelers pause to rest. Neighbors exchange quiet greetings. Season after season, the tree has watched ordinary life unfold without ever asking to be noticed. Several wooden benches rest beneath its shade. An elderly man sits comfortably upon one of them, carefully repairing a woven straw hat. His fingers move slowly but confidently. Every broken strand is replaced with another strip of fresh straw. Nothing is hurried. Nothing is thrown away before its usefulness has truly ended. The repaired hat will likely serve its owner for many more summers beneath the bright Japanese sun. Nearby, two little girls kneel upon smooth wooden boards practicing their writing lessons. Each holds a simple calligraphy brush. A shallow inkstone rests between them beside neatly folded sheets of handmade paper. Their teacher watches quietly from the veranda of a nearby schoolhouse. She offers gentle guidance rather than constant correction. "Slowly," she says with a warm smile. "The brush should breathe." The girls nod seriously before trying again. Their tiny hands become steadier with every careful stroke. Beautiful writing is not only about forming letters, it teaches patience, balance, attention, the same quiet qualities valued throughout village life. A light breeze carries another wonderful fragrance toward you. Fresh green tea. Its delicate aroma drifts from a modest wooden tea house standing at the edge of the square. Curious, you walk a little closer. The entrance is open. Inside, sunlight filters softly through paper screens, painting pale rectangles across polished wooden floors. Low tables stand neatly, arranged upon woven tatami mats. Simple ceramic cups wait patiently beside iron kettles warming above a small charcoal hearth. There are no elaborate decorations, only clean lines, natural wood, soft light, and peaceful silence. The owner, a woman perhaps in her early 60s, carefully prepares tea for two elderly visitors who have stopped during their morning walk. She pours the steaming water slowly over delicate green leaves. No movement is wasted. Every gesture seems thoughtful. Every pause feels intentional. The fragrance deepens as the leaves unfurl inside the small clay teapot. Soon she serves each guest with both hands, accompanied by a respectful bow. The two friends smile gratefully before lifting the warm cups. For several quiet moments, no one speaks. Conversation can always come later. First comes appreciation. You continue your gentle walk through the village streets. The houses stand close together but never crowded. Each home has its own tiny garden. Some grow herbs, others cultivate vegetables. Many display carefully pruned pine trees or flowering shrubs shaped over many years. Even the smallest garden reflects quiet care rather than wealth. A pair of white butterflies dance lazily above blooming chrysanthemums. Honeybees move patiently from flower to flower. The entire village seems alive without ever becoming noisy. As another lane bends gently toward the northern edge of the settlement, you begin hearing a familiar sound. Metal striking metal. Clear, steady, measured. You soon arrive at the blacksmith's workshop. Unlike the peaceful silence surrounding most homes, this place carries its own unique rhythm. The forge burns steadily beneath a carefully built clay chimney. Bright orange coals glow warmly inside the hearth. Yet even here, nothing feels frantic. The blacksmith works with remarkable calm. He is a broad-shouldered man in his 40s, wearing a dark cotton work robe tied securely at the waist. His sleeves are rolled high above strong forearms dusted lightly with charcoal. Beside him, a young apprentice patiently works the large wooden bellows. Each slow push feeds fresh air into the glowing fire. The flames brighten gently. The iron warms evenly. No wasted effort. No unnecessary force. The blacksmith lifts a narrow farming blade from the fire using long iron tongs. Its surface glows cherry red beneath the workshop light. He places it carefully upon the anvil. Tap, tap, tap. Each hammer strike is calm, purposeful, never rushed. Rather than overpowering the metal, he patiently guides it into its final shape. Watching him, you realize that craftsmanship here resembles farming. Success belongs to patience far more often than speed. Finished tools line one wall. Rice sickles, kitchen knives, garden hoes, wood chisels. Every household in the village depends upon work completed inside this modest workshop. Without strong tools, fields cannot be planted. Without careful repairs, daily life becomes much harder. The blacksmith understands this responsibility. His work quietly supports countless others. Outside the workshop, several children stop briefly to watch glowing sparks rise toward the open roof before floating harmlessly into the morning air. Their eyes widen with quiet fascination. The blacksmith notices them. He smiles warmly and gives a friendly wave before returning to his work. Perhaps one of those children will someday stand beside this very anvil as the next village craftsman. A little farther along the road, another familiar sound greets your ears. Click, clack, click, clack. The steady rhythm comes from a nearby weaving house. Inside, sunlight pours through wide paper windows onto rows of beautifully crafted wooden looms. Several women work together in peaceful concentration. Bright threads of indigo, cream, soft brown, and pale gray stretch tightly across each loom. Hands move with quiet confidence. Feet gently press wooden pedals. The shuttle glides smoothly back and forth. Slowly, almost magically, individual threads become strong cloth. The rhythmic sound of weaving is deeply soothing. Click, clack, pause, click, clack. It blends naturally with birdsong outside and the distant murmur of flowing streams. One elderly weaver notices a young girl watching from the doorway. With a gentle smile, she invites the child closer. Carefully, she places the girl's tiny hands upon the smooth wooden shuttle and guides its first careful journey across the waiting threads. The child laughs softly, not because she has mastered the craft, but because she has taken the very first step. Every tradition begins exactly this way. With patient hands, kind teachers, and one quiet morning in a peaceful village where knowledge is shared as naturally as sunlight falling across the wooden floor. Outside, the village bell rings once, not to hurry anyone, simply to mark another gentle hour passing beneath the bright skies of Edo, Japan. The day continues to unfold with the same calm rhythm that has guided this valley for generations, inviting you to wander a little farther and discover what peaceful surprises await beyond the next quiet lane. The village bell fades gently into the distance. For a few peaceful moments, its final note seems to linger among the cedar-covered hills before dissolving into the steady chorus of birds and flowing water. The day has fully awakened now. Golden sunlight rests softly upon every tiled roof, every bamboo fence, and every narrow footpath winding through the village. The cool freshness of dawn has slowly given way to the gentle warmth of late morning, yet the mountain breeze continues to carry a welcome touch of cool air down into the valley. Today is market day. Not the kind of busy marketplace that fills a great city with endless noise, but a modest gathering where neighboring villages come together to exchange the simple things that make everyday life comfortable. You follow a quiet country road leading away from the village. The path gently curves beside shimmering rice fields before climbing a small wooded hillside. Tall cedars stand like silent guardians overhead, their straight trunks reaching high into the clear blue sky. Sunlight filters through the branches in long golden beams. The forest floor is covered with soft moss, fallen pine needles, and smooth stones shaped by centuries of gentle rain. Somewhere high above, a woodpecker taps patiently against an old cedar trunk. Its careful rhythm echoes softly through the trees. Not far away, the sweet melody of a Japanese bush warbler drifts from the bamboo thickets. The song is delicate, simple, comforting. As you continue walking, the road gradually widens. Soon you notice other travelers making their way toward the market. An elderly couple walks side by side. The husband carefully balances 2 woven baskets across a wooden shoulder pole. One basket holds polished chestnuts gathered from the nearby mountains. The other contains neatly wrapped bundles of dried mushrooms collected during autumn and carefully preserved through the colder months. Beside him, his wife carries several finely woven bamboo baskets, each crafted during quiet winter evenings beside the family hearth. Every basket is slightly different. Some are deep enough for vegetables. Others are designed for carrying freshly caught fish. Each reflects many years of practiced skill. Ahead of them walks a young fisherman. His broad straw hat shields his face from the growing sun. A wooden tub hangs comfortably from one shoulder. Inside, clear spring water keeps several silver river trout fresh until they reach the market. The fish glide lazily through the cool water, their scales flashing briefly whenever sunlight reaches into the bucket. He pauses now and then beneath the shade of a tree, allowing both himself and the fish a quiet moment to rest. No one seems concerned about arriving first. There is plenty of time. Market day is as much about visiting neighbors as it is about trading goods. Before long, the trees begin to thin. The peaceful murmur of many quiet conversations reaches your ears long before the marketplace itself comes into view. Then, almost naturally, the road opens into a broad, grassy meadow surrounded by ancient cherry trees. Although spring has long since passed, their wide branches offer generous shade beneath the bright summer sky. Simple wooden stalls stand in neat rows. Each has been built from local cedar and covered with woven reed roofs to protect both merchants and visitors from the afternoon sun. Nothing appears crowded. The stalls are arranged with comfortable spaces between them, allowing everyone to stroll at an unhurried pace. The marketplace feels welcoming rather than busy. You wander slowly through the first row. A potter carefully arranges freshly fired bowls upon a wooden shelf. Each piece is unique. Some carry soft gray glazes. Others display gentle shades of pale blue or warm brown inspired by the surrounding mountains and rivers. Tiny imperfections remain visible. Rather than flaws, they remind every owner that each bowl has been shaped by human hands. Nearby, another craftsman displays beautifully carved wooden combs, chopsticks, tea scoops, and small boxes made from fragrant cedar and cypress. The smooth wood glows warmly beneath the sunlight. Each object invites quiet appreciation before being gently lifted and examined. Across the lane, a textile merchant carefully unfolds bolts of indigo-dyed cotton cloth, deep navy, soft blue, gentle charcoal gray. The fabrics sway lightly whenever the breeze passes through the market. Several women pause to feel the texture between their fingertips. They discuss stitching patterns, family celebrations, and plans for new garments before the coming autumn. Their voices remain soft, almost musical. No one raises their voice to attract customers. There is no need. Those who wish to buy will naturally stop. Those who simply wish to admire are equally welcome. The smell of warm food soon catches your attention. Following the delicious aroma, You arrive beside a modest cooking stall where an elderly woman prepares simple rice cakes over glowing charcoal. Steam rises gently from bamboo baskets stacked beside her. She carefully brushes each cake with a light coating of sweet soy glaze before placing it above the fire. The glaze begins to caramelize almost immediately. Its rich fragrance mingles with the scent of toasted rice and fragrant cedar smoke. Several travelers sit quietly upon low wooden benches nearby, enjoying their meals beneath the shade of the cherry trees. One elderly traveler slowly sips hot green tea while watching children chase dragonflies through the meadow. A merchant from another valley unwraps a modest lunch of pickled vegetables, rice, and grilled fish. He smiles politely at those passing by. No introductions are necessary. Shared peace often creates its own quiet friendship. Near the center of the marketplace stands a weathered stone well. Its cool spring water has refreshed travelers for longer than anyone can remember. A young girl patiently lowers a wooden bucket into the clear water. With both hands, she carefully lifts it again before offering the first drink to her grandmother. The older woman thanks her with a warm smile. Only then does the child take her own refreshing sip. Small acts of kindness appear everywhere in this peaceful place. They require no applause, no recognition. They simply become part of ordinary life. Above the market, colorful paper streamers flutter gently between wooden poles, not for celebration, simply to mark the gathering place from a distance. Their soft movement adds another touch of quiet beauty beneath the clear summer sky. As the morning gradually approaches noon, the marketplace settles into its comfortable rhythm. Conversations continue. Trades are made with respectful bows. Fresh vegetables change hands. Bundles of herbs are exchanged. Handcrafted tools find new homes. Children laugh softly beneath the cherry trees while sparrows hop fearlessly among the scattered grains of rice. Nothing feels hurried. Nothing feels forced. The market is more than a place of commerce. It is where friendships are renewed. News is shared. Skills are admired. And the quiet heartbeat of many neighboring villages comes together beneath the peaceful skies of Edo, Japan. You take one last slow look across the meadow. Warm sunlight filters through the leaves above. The scent of cedar, green tea, fresh rice cakes, and wildflowers drifts gently through the air. Somewhere nearby, a bamboo flute begins to play a simple melody. Its soft notes rise effortlessly above the quiet conversations, floating across the marketplace like a gentle breeze. Without anyone announcing it, the day has entered its calmest, most welcoming hours. And beyond the market road, another peaceful corner of this timeless countryside patiently waits to be discovered. The afternoon sunlight grows softer as you leave the hillside shrine behind. Its golden warmth now rests gently upon the rooftops below, while long shadows begin stretching quietly across the village lanes. The air has changed almost without notice. The lively freshness of morning has settled into the peaceful comfort of early afternoon when work continues steadily, yet no one seems to hurry. As you return to the village, the fragrance of roasted green tea becomes richer with every step. It mingles with the sweet scent of drying straw, polished cedar, and flowers blooming beside narrow garden paths. The entire village seems to breathe more slowly now. Even the birds have softened their songs. A narrow lane bordered by low bamboo fences leads you toward a modest farmhouse whose entrance stands partially open. Outside, several pairs of neatly arranged straw sandals rest upon a smooth stone step. Beside them sits a clay water basin, its clear surface reflecting drifting white clouds overhead. A bamboo ladle rests carefully across its rim. Fresh camellia blossoms float gently upon the water. Every detail welcomes visitors with quiet grace. An elderly woman appears at the doorway. Her silver hair is gathered neatly beneath a simple indigo cloth. Her pale brown kimono carries a delicate pattern of woven reeds that has faded beautifully through many years of careful washing. Fine lines around her eyes deepen as she smiles warmly. She bows gently. No words are needed. Hospitality here begins with kindness long before conversation. You remove your sandals before stepping inside. The cool tatami mats feel pleasantly soft beneath your feet. Sunlight filters through wide paper shoji screens, filling the room with a gentle glow that seems almost weightless. The house is simple, yet every object has been chosen with thoughtful care. A low cedar table stands at the center of the room. Beside it rests a small arrangement of wild grasses displayed inside a hand-shaped ceramic vase. Nothing extravagant, nothing unnecessary. Only quiet beauty inspired by the changing seasons. In one corner hangs a single scroll painted with graceful calligraphy. Its flowing black characters speak of harmony, patience, and gratitude. Although the ink has long since dried, the words still seem wonderfully alive. The woman quietly kneels beside a small charcoal brazier. With practiced hands, she places an iron kettle above the glowing coals. The fire crackles softly. Tiny blue flames flicker beneath the black iron. The melody of the bamboo flute lingers gently behind you as you leave the quiet marketplace. Its soft notes seem to drift between the cherry trees long after the musician is out of sight, blending naturally with the whisper of summer leaves. The path leading away from the market is shaded by old maples and cedars, their broad branches stretching overhead like a welcoming archway. The afternoon sun has climbed higher into the sky, yet the forest keeps the air pleasantly cool. Tiny patches of golden light dance across the narrow dirt trail. Every breeze stirs the leaves with a sound so gentle that it almost resembles distant rain. You slow your pace without thinking. This is not a road meant for rushing. It invites wandering. Beside the path, a small stream slips quietly over rounded stones polished smooth through countless seasons. Ferns crowd its banks, their delicate fronds glowing bright green beneath the filtered sunlight. Dragonflies hover just above the water. Their transparent wings shimmer like tiny pieces of glass whenever they catch the light. A frog leaps from a mossy rock into the stream with the smallest splash before disappearing beneath the cool water. The forest quickly returns to silence. Only the stream continues its endless song. A little farther ahead, the cedar trees gradually give way to towering bamboo. Hundreds of slender stalks rise toward the sky, their emerald green trunks perfectly straight. High above, graceful leaves sway together whenever the wind passes through. The sound is unlike any other forest. Not the rustling of broad leaves, not the whisper of pine needles. Instead, it is a soft rolling murmur, as though the bamboo itself is quietly breathing. You step into the grove. The temperature drops almost immediately. The sunlight becomes softer, broken into countless pale beams that drift between the tall stalks. The ground beneath your feet is covered with fallen bamboo leaves, creating a natural carpet that muffles every footstep. Even walking feels quieter here. Every now and then, two bamboo stalks gently touch one another. A light wooden knock echoes through the grove before fading away. The sound never feels lonely. It feels comforting, as though the forest itself is speaking in a language that needs no translation. Not far ahead, an elderly man kneels beside several freshly cut bamboo poles. He wears a simple brown cotton robe tied neatly at the waist, and a broad woven hat shades his peaceful face. Beside him rests a small collection of carefully sharpened hand tools, a fine saw, a carving knife, a wooden mallet. He examines each section of bamboo with patient attention before making a single, careful cut. Nothing is wasted. The thicker pieces will become water pipes for nearby gardens. The lighter sections will be crafted into baskets. The smallest pieces may one day become children's toys, tea whisks, or delicate flutes. Even the leaves will find purpose, feeding animals or returning gently to the soil. The craftsman notices you watching. He smiles warmly and offers a respectful bow before returning to his work. His hands move slowly, confidently. Each cut follows the natural joints of the bamboo. Rather than forcing the material, he works with it. The bamboo decides where it wishes to separate. The craftsman simply listens. Nearby, a young apprentice carefully smooths the edge of a newly woven basket. His concentration is complete. Every strip must lie perfectly flat. Every curve must feel comfortable in the hand. The older craftsman says very little. Occasionally he offers a quiet suggestion. The apprentice nods, then tries again. Learning here is never hurried. Patience is considered part of the craft itself. Leaving the bamboo workshop behind, the path continues gently uphill. Soon the forest begins to thin, revealing a small hillside shrine resting peacefully beneath enormous cedar trees. Stone lanterns line the entrance. Soft moss has slowly claimed their bases over many decades. Their weathered surfaces tell stories of rain, snow, sunshine, and quiet prayers offered by countless generations. A broad stone stairway climbs only a short distance before reaching the wooden shrine. Its roof curves gracefully toward the sky. Dark cedar beams support wide eaves that shelter the polished veranda below. A thick sacred rope hangs above the entrance, decorated with folded white paper streamers that move gently in the afternoon breeze. No crowds gather here today. Only a single elderly woman kneels quietly before the shrine. She closes her eyes for a peaceful moment, bows respectfully, and places a small bundle of freshly gathered wildflowers upon the wooden offering table. There are no grand ceremonies, only quiet gratitude. When she finishes, she smiles softly before beginning her slow walk back toward the village. The shrine returns to silence once more. You sit for a few moments upon a smooth wooden bench overlooking the valley. From here, the entire countryside stretches before you. The rice paddies shimmer like polished mirrors beneath the afternoon sun. Thin columns of smoke rise gently from scattered farmhouses. Narrow streams weave silver lines through the fields. Beyond them, blue mountains rest peacefully against the distant horizon. The view seems almost timeless. Generations have looked upon this same valley. The seasons have painted it green, gold, white, and pink countless times. Yet its quiet beauty remains unchanged. A cool breeze carries the fragrance of cedar wood, mountain herbs, fresh grass, and distant tea leaves drying somewhere below. You breathe deeply. The air feels wonderfully clean. It carries none of the smoke or hurried sounds of great cities, only the quiet rhythm of nature. As you begin walking again, the path descends toward another part of the village. Children's gentle laughter drifts upward through the trees. Somewhere nearby, someone is preparing afternoon tea. A kettle begins to sing softly above a charcoal fire. The comforting aroma of roasted green tea leaves soon follows, inviting everyone nearby to pause, rest, and enjoy one of the simplest pleasures of the day. The afternoon still has many peaceful moments waiting to unfold, and the welcoming homes of the village are preparing to open their doors. Soon, delicate wisps of steam begin curling upward into the afternoon light. While waiting for the water to heat, she carefully opens a beautifully crafted wooden tea chest. Inside rest several small paper packets tied neatly with woven cords. She selects one slowly. The packet contains finely rolled green tea leaves gathered from nearby hills earlier that spring. Even before the leaves touch the warm teapot, their fresh aroma fills the room. It carries gentle notes of young grass, mountain rain, and spring mornings. The kettle begins to sing quietly, not a whistle, only a soft, comforting murmur as tiny bubbles rise from the bottom. The woman pours the hot water over the waiting tea leaves. She pauses, allows them to awaken. Nothing is rushed. Good tea asks for patience. The room grows wonderfully peaceful. Outside, the wind brushes gently against the paper screens. Somewhere in the garden, a sparrow lands beside a smooth stone lantern before fluttering away once more. The fragrance of tea slowly deepens. Rich, fresh, comforting. The woman pours the tea into 2 small ceramic cups. Each cup is slightly different. One carries a pale green glaze. The other is soft cream with tiny speckles resembling scattered grains of sand. Their uneven shapes fit naturally within the hands. She offers 1 cup with both hands and another gentle bow. The warm ceramic feels comforting against your palms. You lift the cup slowly. The first sip is delicate, fresh, earthy, smooth. There is no sweetness added. None is needed. The flavor itself seems to carry the quiet spirit of the surrounding mountains. You notice how easily silence settles here. No one feels obligated to fill every moment with conversation. Instead, both of you simply enjoy the tea, the sunlight, the gentle sounds of the afternoon. Sometimes the most meaningful company asks for very few words. After a while, the woman carefully brings forward a small lacquered tray. Upon it rests several simple sweets made from rice flour and sweet bean paste. Each has been shaped like a tiny maple leaf. Although autumn is still some weeks away, their gentle design quietly honors the seasons that always lie ahead. The sweets are modest, not intended to impress, only to accompany the tea with quiet balance. As you enjoy this peaceful moment, another member of the household quietly enters. An elderly man with calm gray eyes bows politely before taking his place near the window. Across his lap rests a partly finished bamboo fishing basket. Without interrupting the peaceful atmosphere, he resumes his work. Thin strips of bamboo pass slowly through his fingers. Over, under, around, again. Each movement is almost effortless after so many years. The basket slowly grows stronger with every careful weave. Its pattern resembles gentle ripples spreading across still water. Watching him, you begin to understand why so many Japanese crafts survive for generations. They are not rushed toward perfection. They arrive there through patience. Occasionally he pauses, turning the basket toward the light. He studies its shape, adjusts one narrow strip, then continues. Every object carries the quiet fingerprint of its maker. Even something as ordinary as a fishing basket becomes an expression of careful attention. Outside, several neighborhood children pass along the lane carrying bundles of freshly gathered herbs. They greet the couple respectfully with cheerful bows before continuing toward another house. One little girl pauses to admire a cluster of blooming hydrangeas growing beside the garden gate. She gently touches one blue blossom before smiling and hurrying after her friends. No one calls after her. The afternoon itself seems to encourage slow discovery. The elderly woman notices your interest in the garden and quietly slides open another paper door. Immediately, fresh air enters the room. Before you lies a tiny inner courtyard. A winding stone path crosses carefully raked white gravel. Moss blankets the shaded corners beneath a small maple tree. A single stone lantern stands beside a miniature pond where bright orange koi drift lazily beneath floating lily pads. Water trickles gently from a hollow bamboo fountain into the pond below. Its steady rhythm becomes part of the afternoon's peaceful music. A dragonfly settles briefly upon one smooth river stone before lifting gracefully back into the warm air. Everything feels perfectly balanced. Nothing asks for attention. Nothing feels excessive. The beauty comes from quiet harmony rather than grand display. Time itself seems to move differently within this small garden. Minutes pass unnoticed. Perhaps longer. Perhaps shorter. It hardly matters. Beyond the garden wall, the village continues its gentle work. The distant click of wooden looms rises and falls with the breeze. Somewhere, a co-opper carefully shapes another barrel. From farther away comes the soft ringing of a blacksmith's hammer, now slower than it had been during the busy morning hours. Every craft continues at its own peaceful pace. The day has entered its most restful chapter. Soon, the afternoon light will begin turning amber. Lanterns will be prepared. Families will gather once more. And another beautiful evening will quietly descend upon this timeless village, where every ordinary moment feels worthy of remembering. The bright sunlight that had filled every corner of the village begins to soften, wrapping the wooden houses in a warm amber glow. Shadows grow longer across the narrow lanes, stretching quietly toward the rice fields as though the day itself has decided to slow its pace. Inside the little garden, almost nothing seems to change. And yet, everything does. The sunlight now filters through the maple leaves at a different angle, painting delicate patterns across the white gravel below. Tiny patches of light drift slowly as the branches move with the breeze, creating quiet pictures that exist only for a few peaceful moments before changing once again. The elderly couple remains wonderfully unhurried. The woman gently rinses the small ceramic teacups with warm water before drying each one using a soft linen cloth. Every cup receives the same careful attention, the same quiet respect. She returns them one by one to the wooden tea chest, where each has its own familiar place. Order here is never strict. It simply makes everyday life feel calmer. The old basket maker finishes another careful row before resting his hands upon his knees. For a few silent moments, he simply studies the nearly completed basket. He is not searching for mistakes. He is allowing himself time to truly see his own work. Then, with a peaceful smile, he makes one tiny adjustment to a single bamboo strip. Sometimes perfection arrives through the smallest touch. Outside, a gentle breeze carries the rich fragrance of cedar wood warmed by the afternoon sun. Mixed within it comes another familiar scent, freshly harvested rice straw. Across the village, several families have begun spreading bundles beneath open shelters where they will dry naturally in the soft mountain air. The golden stalks rustle quietly whenever the wind passes through them. Their sound resembles gentle whispers exchanged between old friends. You thank your hosts with a respectful bow before stepping back into the narrow village lane. The warmth of the sun rests comfortably upon your shoulders. Somewhere nearby, a pair of white butterflies floats lazily above blooming cosmos flowers planted beside a bamboo fence. The blossoms sway gently, filling the air with quiet color rather than bold display. Their beauty asks for nothing. It simply exists. As you continue walking, you notice that many villagers have entered the most peaceful portion of their working day. A woman sits upon her wooden veranda mending a child's cotton jacket. Tiny, even stitches slowly strengthen the faded fabric. Beside her rests a woven sewing basket filled with carefully saved pieces of cloth. Nothing is discarded if it can still be repaired. Each patch tells part of a family's story. Across the lane, an elderly grandfather patiently teaches his young grandson how to twist straw into sturdy rope. The boy's first attempts are uneven. The rope loosens and bends in awkward places. Instead of correcting him immediately, the grandfather chuckles softly. He untwists the fibers with patient hands, then shows the movement once more. Slowly, carefully. The little boy tries again. This time the strands hold together. His face brightens with quiet pride. The old man smiles. Some lessons cannot be hurried. They must unfold at the same gentle pace as the seasons themselves. Farther along the lane, you pass a modest sake brewery tucked beside a clear mountain stream. The wide wooden doors stand open to welcome the fresh afternoon air. Inside, enormous cedar barrels rest quietly beneath heavy beams darkened by generations of careful work. The cool interior carries a comforting fragrance unlike anywhere else in the village. Steamed rice, fresh spring water, sweet grain, polished cedar. The brewer slowly stirs one large wooden vat using a long paddle carved from a single piece of cypress. His movements are calm and steady. He understands that good sake cannot be rushed. Nature will decide its own pace. He simply offers careful guidance along the way. Outside the brewery, several smooth stones form a tiny pathway leading toward the stream. The water is astonishingly clear. Tiny fish dart among rounded pebbles while sunlight dances across the rippling surface. A kingfisher suddenly lands upon a low branch extending over the water. For several quiet seconds it remains perfectly still. Then, with breathtaking speed, it slips into the stream and rises again almost immediately. A tiny silver fish glitters briefly in its beak before both disappear into the surrounding forest. The stream continues flowing as though nothing remarkable has happened. Nature rarely pauses to admire itself. You cross another graceful wooden bridge. Its smooth planks creak softly beneath your sandals. Looking downstream, you notice several children floating miniature paper boats upon the gentle current. Each tiny boat has been folded with great care. The children kneel beside the water, laughing quietly as the little vessels drift beneath the bridge. One boat becomes caught against a smooth stone. A young girl carefully reaches into the cool water to free it before watching it continue downstream. No one declares a winner. There is no race. The joy comes simply from watching the boats travel wherever the stream chooses to carry them. An elderly monk from a nearby temple pauses upon the bridge during his afternoon walk. His simple gray robes move gently in the breeze. He smiles warmly at the children before continuing without interrupting their game. His wooden prayer beads rest quietly around his wrist, softly tapping together with each peaceful step. Soon the village begins preparing for evening. Windows are opened wider to welcome the cooler mountain air. Fresh vegetables are gathered from small gardens. Bundles of herbs hang beneath the eaves to dry. The fragrance of simmering miso broth slowly begins drifting through the narrow streets. Somewhere nearby, Rice cooks over a charcoal fire, filling the village with one of the most comforting aromas imaginable. From an open doorway comes the gentle sound of a shakuhachi, the traditional bamboo flute. Its melody is slow and spacious. Each note lingers in the afternoon air before giving way to the next. There is no complicated performance, only a simple tune played for personal enjoyment. The music floats above the rooftops, across the gardens, and into the surrounding fields, becoming part of the landscape itself. Farmers working in the distance pause for just a moment to listen. A woman arranging flowers smiles softly. Even a pair of sparrows settles quietly upon a fence as though curious about the gentle melody. You continue walking until the village lane opens once more toward the western rice fields. The afternoon sun has begun its slow descent. The water covering the paddies now reflects a sky painted with delicate shades of honey, pale gold, and soft blue. A gentle breeze moves across the surface, turning each field into a shimmering sea of light. The village behind you continues its peaceful rhythm. Ahead, evening quietly approaches. Lanterns will soon be lit. Families will gather around low wooden tables. The sounds of the day will gradually soften into the comforting stillness of night. And your gentle journey through this forgotten corner of Edo, Japan will continue beneath the warm colors of the setting sun. The afternoon quietly surrenders to evening. Almost without noticing, the bright sunlight begins to mellow into shades of warm amber. The long shadows of cedar trees stretch across the village lanes, while the surrounding mountains glow softly beneath the lowering sun. The air feels cooler now, carrying with it the fresh scent of flowing water and distant pine forests. This is one of the gentlest hours of the day. The busiest work has already been completed. The evening meal has not yet begun. Between those two moments lies a peaceful pause that the villagers have treasured for generations. You follow the familiar footpath back toward the heart of the village. The road that felt lively during the morning now carries a different rhythm. Farmers return from the rice fields at an easy pace. Their straw hats are dusted with tiny bits of dried grass, and their blue cotton jackets bear the marks of an honest day's work. Wooden hoes rest comfortably across their shoulders, while neatly bundled tools hang from woven ropes at their sides. No one seems exhausted. Their movements are slow, satisfied. The work is finished for today. Tomorrow will arrive soon enough. As they pass one another along the narrow lane, each exchange is accompanied by a warm smile and a respectful bow. Some stop briefly to admire a neighbor's vegetable garden. Others exchange a few quiet words about the weather, the health of the rice plants, or the arrival of migrating birds that have recently appeared above the valley. Their conversations are never hurried. Silence is welcomed just as much as speech. Ahead, a young father walks beside his small daughter. She carries a tiny woven basket filled with freshly gathered herbs. Every few steps, she proudly lifts the basket a little higher, showing him the fragrant mint, shiso leaves, and wild mountain green she has collected. The father smiles. "You chose carefully," he says gently. The little girl beams with quiet pride. Together they continue home beneath the soft evening light. Nearby, an elderly couple strolls beside the irrigation canal. The husband pauses now and then to watch the water flowing peacefully toward the lower rice fields. The wife notices several fallen leaves caught against a small wooden gate. Without a word, she gently lifts them away using a slender bamboo stick. The water begins flowing freely once again. She smiles quietly. Even the smallest act of care helps the whole village. The gentle current carries tiny reflections of the evening sky downstream. You continue toward the village square beneath the great Zelkova tree. Children are finishing their games before returning home. Several boys carefully roll wooden hoops along the packed earth using smooth sticks, laughing softly whenever one hoop wobbles off course. Nearby, 3 little girls skip slowly across flat stepping stones, pretending that the ground between them is a flowing river. An older sister patiently helps her younger brother balance upon one stone after another. There is no competition, only shared joy. Their laughter rises lightly into the evening air before blending once more with birdsong. Parents watch from nearby verandas. No one calls impatiently. They know these small moments will soon become treasured memories. At the edge of the square, the village school teacher carefully closes the wooden shutters of the little classroom. She gathers brushes, inkstones, and neatly folded sheets of paper before placing them inside a cedar cabinet. Tomorrow morning, eager young hands will once again practice graceful calligraphy beneath her gentle guidance. Education here is not only about reading, it is about becoming patient, respectful, thoughtful. The school grows quiet until another sunrise. A familiar aroma begins drifting through the village. Freshly steamed rice, miso soup, grilled river fish, soy-glazed eggplant roasting gently above glowing charcoal. The fragrance seems to emerge from every home at once, wrapping the narrow streets in comforting warmth. Wood smoke rises lazily into the cooling sky. Thin blue ribbons curl upward before disappearing among the cedar branches overhead. You notice an elderly woman carrying a lacquered tray toward the neighboring house. Upon it rests a small bowl of simmering vegetable stew. A young mother opens the door with grateful eyes. Her infant sleeps peacefully upon her back beneath a soft cotton wrap. The older woman smiles. "No family should cook alone tonight," she says warmly. The younger woman bows deeply. In this village, generosity often arrives without being requested. It is simply another part of daily life. Farther along the lane, the blacksmith has already extinguished the hottest part of his forge. The glowing coals now shine a deep crimson beneath a layer of pale ash. He carefully wipes each hammer before placing it upon its wooden rack. His apprentice sweeps the workshop floor, gathering tiny curls of iron and charcoal dust into a neat basket. Today's work is complete. Tomorrow, the anvil will once again echo across the village. For now, even the forge deserves its rest. Across the street, the carpenter closes the wide wooden doors of his workshop. Before leaving, he runs one hand across the smooth cedar tabletop he completed earlier that day. Satisfied, he covers it with a clean linen cloth to protect it overnight. A craftsman's work continues even after the tools have been put away. Care extends beyond creation. As the sun lowers toward the western mountains, the village begins preparing its lanterns. Children eagerly help their grandparents trim fresh wicks. Small ceramic oil lamps are placed inside wooden lantern frames covered with delicate paper. One by one, tiny flames appear. The first lantern glows beside the tea house. Another shines beneath the bridge crossing the stream. Soon, warm golden lights begin appearing throughout the village like quiet stars settling gently upon the earth. The changing light transforms everything. Paper windows glow softly from within. Wooden fences cast delicate shadows across garden paths. The stream reflects hundreds of shimmering ribbons of gold. The evening breeze carries the gentle fragrance of night-blooming flowers beginning to open beneath the fading daylight. High above, the first swallow of the evening circles once around the village before disappearing toward its nest beneath a farmhouse roof. Crickets begin their nightly chorus. Their steady song grows stronger as daylight slowly fades. It blends beautifully with the soft murmur of flowing water and the occasional hollow knock of the bamboo fountain in a nearby garden. The village is becoming quieter, not because life has ended for the day, because it is gently changing into another peaceful rhythm. You reach the small wooden bridge where your morning journey first began. Now it looks entirely different. The setting sun paints the clear water with rich shades of amber, rose, and soft violet. The rice paddies beyond the bridge shimmer like sheets of polished bronze beneath the evening sky. A gentle breeze brushes across the valley, carrying with it the comforting sense of supper, cedar wood, and fresh mountain air. You pause for a long, quiet moment. Looking across the village, you realize that no grand event has taken place today. No battle. no royal ceremony. No famous historical figure has passed through these peaceful streets, and yet the ordinary lives unfolding here feel deeply meaningful. A shared meal, a repaired basket, a carefully planted field, a child learning to write, a lantern glowing in a wooden window. History is often remembered through great names, but it is truly built by ordinary people living gentle days just like this one. As the last edge of the sun slips quietly behind the mountains, the sky deepens into soft shades of lavender and indigo. One by one, the evening stars begin to appear above the silent valley. Night is arriving, and beneath its peaceful embrace, another beautiful chapter of this timeless village is about to begin. The final glow of sunset slips quietly beyond the western mountains. For a few lingering moments, ribbons of rose, amber, and lavender remain painted across the horizon before slowly melting into deeper shades of blue. Above the valley, the first evening star shines with quiet confidence, followed by another and then another, until the heavens begin filling with countless tiny lights. Night arrives without ceremony. It simply settles over the village like a familiar blanket. The warm paper lanterns glowing beneath the eaves of each farmhouse become brighter as the sky grows darker. Their soft golden light spills gently across wooden porches, garden stones, and winding footpaths, creating small islands of warmth within the cool evening. You continue along the narrow path beside the irrigation canal. The water that reflected bright blue skies this morning now mirrors the moon instead. Its silver light trembles softly upon the gentle current, breaking into countless shimmering pieces whenever the breeze brushes across the surface. The sound of flowing water has changed as well. During the day it blended with conversation and work. Now it becomes the quiet voice of the valley itself. Patient, endless, comforting. A family crosses the little wooden bridge ahead of you. The grandfather carries a paper lantern suspended from a curved bamboo handle. Its gentle light sways with each slow step. Beside him walks his grandson, carefully matching the older man's pace. The little boy occasionally glances upward toward the sky. "Grandfather," he asks softly, "have these stars always watched over our village?" The old man smiles before answering. "They watched over my grandfather, and his grandfather before him. They will still be here long after we are only stories." The child grows quiet, not from sadness, from wonder. Together they continue home, their lantern becoming smaller with every step until it disappears among the warm lights of the village. You pause beside one of the flooded rice fields. The transformation is remarkable. Earlier it reflected the brilliant colors of the afternoon. Now the shallow water has become a mirror for the moon. Every young rice plant rises from silver reflections, creating delicate patterns that seem almost dreamlike. A gentle breeze passes over the paddy. Tiny ripples spread across its surface. For a brief moment, the reflected moon dances gracefully before becoming perfectly still once again. Several frogs begin their evening chorus from the edges of the fields. Their voices are deep and steady, blending naturally with the gentle singing of countless crickets hidden among the grasses. Far overhead, an owl calls once from the cedar forest. The valley answers with peaceful silence. The sounds never compete. Each waits patiently for its turn. The path gradually leads you toward a small grove of willow trees growing beside a quiet pond. Their long branches trail softly upon the water, creating gentle circles that spread slowly across the moonlit surface. Bright orange koi drift lazily beneath floating lily pads. Though their colors are muted beneath the silver light, their graceful movements remain just as calming. A family of ducks settles quietly among the reeds. The smallest ducklings tuck themselves beneath their mother's wings before closing their tiny eyes. The pond grows still. Even the dragonflies that danced above the water throughout the afternoon have long since found places to rest among the reeds. Nature itself seems to prepare for sleep. Farther along the path, the village shrine rests peacefully beneath towering cedar trees. The stone lanterns standing beside the entrance now hold tiny flames that flicker gently behind protective paper screens. Their warm glow touches the moss-covered steps without disturbing the surrounding darkness. The sacred rope hanging above the shrine entrance moves slightly in the evening breeze. Its white paper streamers whisper softly together. No visitors remain. Only the quiet presence of the old cedar trees keeps watch through the night. Their broad branches stretch high into the starlit sky, just as they have for hundreds of years. Standing beneath them, time feels wonderfully unimportant. Nearby, a narrow mountain stream continues its endless journey through the valley. Moonlight glitters upon every smooth stone beneath the clear water. Tiny fish rest quietly in calm pools where the current slows. The stream never truly sleeps, yet it never seems restless. It simply continues, one gentle moment after another. As you cross another small wooden bridge, you notice the reflection of the village beyond. Every lantern doubles itself upon the water. Golden lights above, golden lights below. The entire valley seems suspended between earth and sky. Not far away, the sound of a shakuhachi rises once again. The unseen musician plays even more slowly than before. Each breath becomes part of the melody. Each pause feels just as important as every note. The music drifts across the rice fields, slips quietly between bamboo groves, and disappears among the distant mountains. No audience applauds. No performance has been announced. Someone simply wished to offer a peaceful song to the evening. You continue walking toward the edge of the valley where the fields meet open countryside. Fireflies begin appearing one by one. At first, only a single tiny light floats above the grasses, then another. Soon, dozens of delicate green lights drift lazily through the warm summer air. They blink softly without pattern. Never hurried, never bright enough to disturb the darkness. Children often believe the fireflies are tiny wandering stars that have gently descended into the fields. Watching them dance above the quiet grasses, it becomes easy to understand why. A cool breeze carries the comforting fragrance of damp earth, fresh bamboo, wild jasmine blooming near the village fences, and the faint sweetness of drying rice straw. The scents mingle so naturally that it becomes impossible to separate one from another. Everything belongs together. The mountains, the streams, the homes, the fields, the people, the quiet night itself. Far behind you, the last household doors slide gently closed. Lanterns remain glowing behind paper windows. Families finish their evening conversations in soft voices before preparing their bedding upon clean tatami floors. Parents tuck quilts carefully around sleepy children. Grandparents whisper gentle goodnight wishes. Outside, the village gradually grows quieter still. Only nature continues its timeless lullaby. The moon climbs a little higher above the valley. Its silver light now bathes the rooftops, bridges, bamboo groves, and endless rice paddies in peaceful stillness. You take one final look across this forgotten corner of Edo, Japan. Nothing asks to be remembered. Nothing struggles to stand apart. Yet somehow, every ordinary detail feels unforgettable. And beneath the calm embrace of the moonlit sky, the village gently invites both its people and you toward a peaceful night's rest. The moon now hangs high above the valley. Its pale silver light gently blankets every rooftop, every winding footpath, and every quiet rice field. The stars seem brighter than they did only an hour before, scattered across the deep indigo sky like tiny lanterns suspended in an endless sea of darkness. The village has settled into the peaceful rhythm of night. From the outside, it almost appears asleep, yet life continues softly behind the glowing paper windows. You walk once more along the narrow lane where only a few hours earlier children had been laughing beneath the great Zelkova tree. Now the square is wonderfully still. The old tree stretches its broad branches toward the heavens, its leaves moving only slightly in the cool mountain breeze. A single lantern hangs beneath one of its lower limbs. Its golden light reaches only a short distance before fading gently into the surrounding darkness. A small wooden bench rests beneath the tree. Someone has left behind a folded straw fan. Perhaps an elderly villager paused here after supper to enjoy the cool evening air before slowly making the short walk home. Nothing has been disturbed. The fan remains exactly where it was placed, waiting patiently until morning. The honesty of the village allows such simple trust. You continue toward one of the modest farmhouses lining the quiet street. Through the softly glowing paper shoji screens, warm lantern light fills the room with a peaceful amber color. The sliding door has been left open just enough to welcome the cool night breeze. Inside, 3 generations of one family quietly share the final moments of the day. The grandmother carefully folds freshly washed cotton cloths that had dried beneath the afternoon sun. Each piece is folded with calm precision before being stacked neatly inside a cedar chest. The grandfather sits nearby, gently polishing the handle of a well-used wooden hoe. The smooth wood reflects years of careful work. He is not preparing it because tomorrow demands it. He simply believes that good tools deserve kindness. Across the room, the parents quietly roll away the low dining table after finishing supper. The bowls have already been washed. The iron kettle still rests upon the charcoal brazier, keeping enough warm water ready for one final cup of tea before bedtime. The youngest daughter kneels beside her older brother. Together, they help their mother spread soft futons across the tatami floor. The quilts are light but wonderfully warm, stitched from layers of carefully mended cotton gathered over many years. Nothing feels luxurious, yet everything feels deeply comfortable. Their father gently slides open another paper screen leading into the small garden. Moonlight pours silently across the moss-covered stones. The tiny pond reflects both the moon and the lantern glowing inside the house. For a few peaceful moments, he simply watches the koi drift beneath floating lily pads before quietly closing the screen once again. The night belongs to the garden now. Farther along the lane, another home prepares for sleep in its own gentle way. An elderly widow sits beside a small oil lamp. Its flame dances quietly whenever the breeze slips beneath the wooden eaves. In her hands rests a length of indigo cloth. She adds one final line of careful stitching before placing the needle safely inside a tiny carved wooden case. Her work is finished. She blows softly across the lamp, dimming its flame only slightly. The room immediately becomes calmer. She bows toward a small family altar standing upon a polished wooden shelf. Fresh flowers gathered that morning still rest inside a simple ceramic vase. A single stick of incense releases the faint fragrance of sandalwood into the quiet room. She offers a silent moment of gratitude for another peaceful day before gently preparing her bedding. Across the village, the blacksmith's workshop stands completely silent. The forge that roared with glowing fire during the morning now sleeps beneath a blanket of cool gray ash. Every hammer hangs neatly upon its wooden peg. The great anvil reflects a patch of moonlight entering through the open doorway. Without the sound of metal striking iron, the workshop feels almost like a quiet chapel. Tomorrow its music will return. Tonight it rests. Nearby, the carpenter's shop is equally peaceful. Fresh cedar shavings remain gathered neatly beside the workbench, carrying their sweet fragrance into the cool night air. A partly finished wooden stool waits patiently beneath a linen cloth. Its maker stopped not because the work was complete, but because every craft deserves its proper ending each day. Patience belongs not only to people, it belongs to the work itself. Beyond the workshops, the small tea house glows warmly beneath 2 hanging lanterns. Only a handful of guests remain. An elderly traveler slowly finishes his final cup of green tea before beginning tomorrow's journey at sunrise. The innkeeper quietly thanks him for his visit. No loud farewell follows, only respectful bows, a peaceful smile, and the comforting promise that he will always be welcome should his travels one day bring him back through this valley. Outside, the village cat begins its nightly patrol. Its gray fur almost disappears beneath the moonlight as it walks carefully along a bamboo fence. It pauses beside a stone lantern where a tiny moth circles the warm flame. The cat watches with quiet curiosity before continuing toward the grain storehouse, where it faithfully keeps watch over the family's precious harvest. Not every guardian wears armor. Some simply have soft paws and patient eyes. High above the rooftops, the Milky Way stretches across the heavens in breathtaking silence. Without the lights of modern cities, every constellation shines brilliantly above the sleeping valley. Children who grew up here learned these stars long before they could read. Farmers quietly followed them through changing seasons. Travelers trusted them during long mountain journeys. Tonight they continue their ancient watch over the peaceful countryside. A cool wind drifts gently down from the mountains. It carries the scent of pine forests, damp earth, flowing streams, and wildflowers that open only after sunset. The bamboo groves answer with their familiar whisper. The rice fields rustle softly. The crickets continue their endless evening song. Everything feels perfectly balanced. Nothing asks to be noticed. Everything quietly belongs. As the night grows deeper, one lantern after another is gently extinguished. Golden windows slowly fade into darkness. The village becomes little more than soft silhouettes resting beneath the silver moon. Only the shrine lanterns remain glowing beside the ancient cedar trees, their tiny flames standing faithfully through the night. You walk one final time to the little wooden bridge crossing the clear stream. The same bridge welcomed you before sunrise. It watched as the village awoke. It listened while children laughed, merchants traded, farmers worked, and families gathered for supper. Now it quietly witnesses another ending. The water beneath the bridge continues its patient journey toward distant rivers and eventually the sea. It never hurries. It never stops. It simply flows. Standing there beneath the moonlight, you begin to understand why this forgotten village has remained so peaceful through the passing generations. Its people do not chase time. They move with it, like the seasons, like the river, like the moon crossing the silent sky. The cool night air feels wonderfully gentle upon your face. Above you, countless stars continue shining with the same quiet light that guided travelers centuries ago. Around you, the village sleeps peacefully, wrapped in the comforting embrace of the mountains. And as the night grows deeper still, the boundary between history, memory, and dreams begins to softly disappear. The night has reached its quietest hour. The moon, which earlier climbed proudly above the valley, has now begun its slow journey toward the western mountains. Its silver light has softened, spreading gently across the rooftops like a thin blanket of mist. Even the stars seem calmer now, their steady glow reflected in the silent waters of the rice paddies below. Almost everyone in the village is asleep. The paper lanterns that once glowed warmly behind wooden windows have been extinguished one by one, leaving only the faint light of the moon and the patient stars to illuminate the narrow lanes. You continue your peaceful walk through the sleeping village. Your footsteps remain almost silent upon the packed earth. Every familiar place now carries a different beauty beneath the calm embrace of darkness. The little bridge across the stream rests quietly where it has stood for generations. Its cedar planks have cooled beneath the night air. A faint layer of dew has begun forming along the smooth wooden rails, sparkling softly whenever moonlight touches them. The stream beneath never pauses. Water slips gently around polished stones. carrying tiny reflections of the stars downstream toward places unseen. Listening closely, you notice something remarkable. Without the voices of the daytime, the smallest sounds become wonderfully clear. A single leaf drifting across the water, the distant flutter of a night bird's wings, the soft tapping of bamboo against bamboo as the breeze moves through the grove. Each sound seems carefully placed within the silence. Nothing feels empty. The quiet itself has become part of the music. You wander toward the village shrine one final time. The ancient cedar trees stand motionless beneath the fading moon. Their enormous trunks have witnessed countless nights like this one. Storms have passed. Empires have risen and fallen. Generations have been born, grown old, and quietly departed. Yet the cedars remain, offering shade during summer, shelter during winter, and silent companionship through every changing season. A gentle breeze stirs the sacred rope hanging above the shrine entrance. The folded white paper streamers whisper softly against one another. Nearby, the stone lanterns still protect their tiny flames. Though small, each light continues faithfully through the darkness. It is comforting to know that even while the village sleeps, someone long ago designed these quiet places to watch over it. Beyond the shrine, the forest becomes wonderfully still. Even the crickets have softened their chorus. An owl glides silently between the cedar branches, disappearing almost as quickly as it appeared. Its flight leaves no sound behind. Only the peaceful certainty that the forest, too, continues its quiet life while the villagers dream. The air has grown cooler. You notice a faint ribbon of mist beginning to gather above the stream. It curls slowly through the valley, settling gently across the lower fields like delicate silk. The mountains beyond become softer, their outlines slowly blending into the night sky. Nothing is hidden, only gently veiled. You follow the familiar path toward the rice paddies once more. Tiny beads of dew now rest upon every blade of grass. Each one reflects the moonlight like a miniature pearl. The young rice plants stand perfectly still within the shallow water. Only an occasional ripple reminds you that the earth itself is always quietly alive. Nearby, a scarecrow watches patiently over the fields. Its woven straw hat leans slightly to one side after many weeks beneath sun and rain. Its simple cotton robe moves gently whenever the breeze arrives. In daylight it appears ordinary. Tonight it becomes another peaceful guardian beneath the stars. As the hours continue passing, subtle changes begin appearing across the eastern horizon. At first they are almost impossible to notice. The deep indigo sky becomes ever so slightly lighter. The brightest stars slowly begin fading. The moon loses a little of its silver brilliance. Night is not ending suddenly. It is gently making room for another day. High upon a farmhouse roof, a rooster quietly shifts upon its perch. It does not crow yet. Instead, it stretches its wings before settling once more. Instinct tells it that morning is approaching, even though darkness still fills the valley. Inside the homes, families continue sleeping peacefully. Soft quilts rise and fall with slow, comfortable breathing. Children dream beneath warm cotton blankets. Grandparents rest after another honest day of work. The elderly basket maker sleeps knowing tomorrow another length of bamboo will pass patiently through his hands. The farmer dreams of healthy rice growing beneath the summer sun. The potter perhaps imagines another beautiful bowl waiting inside tomorrow's kiln. The blacksmith's hammer remains silent. The carpenter's saw rests where it was carefully placed. Every tool patiently waits for daylight. Work will return soon enough. For now, rest is equally important. Even history needs quiet nights. You make your way toward the highest hill overlooking the village. The climb is gentle. Pine needles soften each step. The familiar fragrance of cedar, moss, and cool earth fills the fresh mountain air. When you reach the summit, The entire valley stretches peacefully before you. The view is breathtaking. Below, the rooftops rest like tiny islands surrounded by shimmering fields. The stream winds gracefully through the countryside, reflecting the final light of the moon. Beyond it, dark forests embrace the sleeping village from every side. Farther still, layer upon layer of distant mountains fade softly into the horizon. You sit quietly upon a weathered wooden bench placed beneath an ancient pine tree. Someone built it many years ago so travelers could pause and admire this same view. How many people have rested here? A wandering monk, a merchant returning home, a young couple watching the stars, a grandfather sharing stories with his grandchildren. Their names may have faded from history, but this peaceful place remembers every quiet visitor. The eastern sky now carries the faintest ribbon of pale blue. Soon it becomes soft gray. Then touches of gentle lavender begin spreading above the distant hills. Morning has begun its slow return. The first bird sings, only one. Its simple melody floats across the valley before fading into silence once again. Moments later, another bird answers from a cedar tree farther below, then another. Soon the countryside awakens, not with noise, but with a quiet conversation between birds greeting the new day. A thin thread of smoke rises from one farmhouse chimney. Someone has awakened before everyone else to prepare the morning fire. Its gentle scent of cedar smoke drifts upward through the cool air. Another chimney follows, then another. Without hurry, without announcement, life quietly begins again. Looking down upon the village, you realize that this peaceful journey has never truly been about buildings, tools, or even history alone. It has been about rhythm, the steady rhythm of sunrise and sunset, work and rest, planting and harvest, family and neighbors, seasons that come and go without ever asking permission. For countless generations, ordinary people have found quiet happiness by moving gently with those rhythms instead of struggling against them. As the first golden light of dawn touches the highest mountain peaks, the valley begins awakening exactly as it did when our journey first began. The circle feels complete, yet history, like the flowing stream, never truly ends. It simply continues into another peaceful morning.